Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. And this time I want to show you improved script which can automatically add dimensions. So I am again in this Autodesk sample project, and this is, let's say, some real project. So we are testing the script on some relevant project. And first of all, let's see what the script can do, and then I will show you my script. And also from this video and in the future, I will use Autodesk Revit 2021 regarding Dynamo. That is probably version 2.6 point something, we will see. So now we have user interface in this script. We can choose either cable tray, duct, pipe. With small modification, this script also can work for other elements, but I choose to test the script on those categories. So in this case, because I have ducts here, I will choose ducts. My second reference can be either a wall, and the script should work similarly like that previous script, which needs to find the closest side of the duct and closest side of the wall. And also the reference can be grid. So in this case, I will test at first with ducts and grids. You have ability to filter some elements by their length. So if you want to add the dimensions just for elements which have a length higher than half a meter, you can type half a meter, or you can type 1 meter. And this I will show you later. So at first I don't want to remove identical dimensions. I want to use those settings. And okay, the script is completed. So now those are like identical dimensions. So when you have the same value, of course, this is the element number 1, this is the element number 2, but the reference is basically the same. You have a reference from some grid to center of the element, because here we have a centric reduction. Basically, we have the same value. And yes, now I have new methodology where I will put all those dimensions. I now choose to put dimension near to the element. So of course, if you have like 107 dimensions, some dimensions will overlap, but you will need to adjust that later. So yeah, we have dimensions for all ducts which have a length higher than 1 meter. I didn't like this situation, so I did insert inside the script some logic which can detect those kind of situations. And now I will delete those dimensions, and I will run the script again just to show you that additional options which need to remove identical dimensions. So we have ducts, grids. Let's put it again 1 meter, and we want to remove identical dimensions. And now, as you can see, we have just one dimension. Also, we can go up here. Yeah, so the script is able to detect when it finds a similar dimensions, and it will automatically delete one of them. And that's it for the ducts and ducts regarding grids. Now I will again delete those dimensions, because I also want to show you the second option. And my second option is related to some element and the wall. And the thing which I didn't have in the previous script is when you find closest side of the duct, also second reference need to be the wall. And in my previous script, I did show you how you can add those dimensions, but you will always use internal part of the wall. And sometimes that internal side of the wall can be at this side, but depending how you model your wall, it can be also be that internal side of the wall is over here. So you will have this side and basically external part of the wall. So I did also fix that. Now I will find the closest side of the wall, and I will assign that wall. And also I did color ducts to the red color and walls to the blue color. And as you can see over here, I don't have a wall, I have curtain wall mullion. So my script is able to add dimensions between the element and the wall. Because this is not a category of the wall, probably all those ducts will reference somewhere here. So now I will choose ducts, but this time I will go with the walls. We can leave this half a meter. And for that wall logic, when we are going from the closest side of the duct to the closest side of the wall, I cannot apply this option over here. But also I think that probably you will not have those kind of situations because this closest side and these closest sides are not the same value because you have reduction here. And okay, the script is finished. And how long the script will work highly depends on your machine, on the number of elements which you have in the view. So it can take a little bit longer to run this simulation for the walls. Usually this simulation which needs to find dimension between the elements and the grids run pretty fast. So as I told you, because over here we don't have a wall, category of the wall, all those dimensions on the left are reference to this wall for this location. And because we did say that we want to have all elements with a length higher than a half a meter, we have overlapping of dimensions. I think it's matter to go above 1 meter. But here it is, as I told you, in the situation when the Dynamo finds closest dimension and closest wall, if you are using my previous script, you can have situation where the reference will stick to the duct and internal part of the wall, which in some situation can be opposite side. No, this is not okay. This is not okay. This is the wrong side of the duct. And it is a good side of the wall. Here it is okay, here is okay, okay. Over here I'm not sure what is the reference. So the reference is this wall over here. It can be that, yeah, but it is again the wrong side of the duct. So the script is not perfect. I think like 90% of all dimensions will have proper reference. Now if we want to go and see what will happen for the pipe, in this project we don't have too much of the pipe installations, but either way we can run the script and see what will be the result. Pipes, grids, half a meter. I want immediately to remove identical dimensions. And okay, in a matter of seconds I have dimensions, and over here we have overlapping, but it is dimension for the first and the second pipe. Also over here, this pipe over here. Yeah, we have here, and we did remove identical, so we don't have the same values everywhere. Here because we have one pipe above the other, we have one dimension. Same way here. And I think that dimensions are okay, so it is the dimension between the grid and the center of the element. We have dimension over here, and over here. Yeah, so we have all dimensions. And yes, for ducts, when you want to create dimensions between the ducts and the grids, the script is able to handle not just rectangular duct, it is able to also add dimensions for the round elements. But for round elements, you cannot say that the second reference will be the wall, because also for the first reference for the duct, you cannot find closest side of the round duct. So when you want to add dimensions on the view when you have mostly round elements, you must choose this duct and grid reference. And here it is. So as you can see, no matter if it is a rectangular or round duct, the script can find the reference. For some reason, the script was unable to find the reference over here, but for those other couple of ducts, we have dimensions. And as I told you, so for round objects like pipes, the only thing which you can use is pipes and grids. But if we go to try to use dimensions for the cable trays, because cable trays are basically rectangular objects, you can use either cable trays and grids or cable trays and walls. Both options will work. And okay, so from the grid to the center of the element, from the grid to the center of the element, grid center element, also over here. What is this? Okay, he finds that this grid is closer, so maybe we should move this reference over here. And that's it, we have just 5 cable trays. Now let's try this second option. So the cable trays with the walls, and the script is completed. So okay, we have over here dimension for the cable tray and the wall, and dimension is correct, so it's closest side of the cable tray, closest side of the wall. Also over here, here it is not okay, it is the closest side of the wall, but it's not the correct side of the cable tray. Here it is okay. Over here also it is okay. And also over here dimension is correct. So you will need to check your results after you run the script, but in most cases you will have proper results. And that is it regarding the showcase of the script. And now I will go to Dynamo to show you major parts of this script. And before we jump to the script, so this version of Revit 2021 use this 2.6.1 version of the Dynamo. And what we have here overall, this upper left part of the script is common part for the script which use grids and for the part of the script which use walls. So over here I have input zone, and I did define all the inputs which you did so in the user interface. Then I will read all those inputs, and here I have some logic which need to recognize if I have round object. So if I have the view in which I have also rectangular and round elements, I need to set some logic in order to pass those information to other parts of the script. Also right away I have a filter, so I want immediately to reduce the number of elements which will go further. Or here I have very simple Python script which is basically if statement. Okay, here I need to find x and y direction of ducts. So let's also run the script so we can have a value. Cable trays. So let's go with cable trays and for example grids. Now in this case we have cable trays, and over here we have as a result the total list of cable trays divided to the x direction and y direction. Over here we want to start dealing with the grids, so we want to transfer grids to curves. We again want to detect direction, so because we want to compare x with x and y with y in order to find minimal distances. In order to have proper comparison between the geometry, we need basically to translate all elements and their geometry to 0. We will compare everything at level 0. Then we will divide everything which we can divide in order to compare just the proper values and proper geometry. Optimized version of previous script regarding the grids, and also this logic over here will try to find those identical dimensions. And also over here you need to include again some pretty simple if statement with Python in order to include that user opinion from the user interface, so user can choose if the user wants or doesn't want to remove those identical dimensions. And this end of the script is pretty simple. It is very similar to that script which we initially had. So we will deliver all the cable trays and grids as a reference. We will also deliver the lines, and we will create a set of dimensions for X direction and set of dimensions for Y direction. Okay. So from the moment when I divide cable trays to their directions, I will take that as input for my second part of the script. Basically over here I did create two sets of the same principle, of the same nodes, and I will explain why. You can highly optimize this script, but I was lazy at the end, so I did find some solution which is easy for me, and I decided to stop here. But again, there is a lot of room for improvement here. So we want to know middle elevation of the element, again, because at some moment we need to translate that geometry. Yeah, we will translate that to geometry. And that is the case why I did choose to test this script with ducts, pipes, and cable trays, because they have this dedicated parameter regarding the height, middle elevation. But you can use, I think, this script for any category. Just you need to find proper substitution for this middle elevation parameter. Then again, we have the same story from the previous video regarding the side-to-side dimensions. So you need to find the faces, edges, curves, and so on and so on. So at the end, you will have, you remember that for the rectangular objects, you have 6 different surfaces, and you're going one by one node and filtering all those surfaces. So you're trying to find closest surface to some wall. And at the end, you will have just two sides of the element. Then you need to start finding the closest side of the wall, and because in the previous script we did use only this interior side of the wall. For some room, the interior side of the wall is in that room. For some other room, the interior side is in that room, but actually exterior side is in some other room. As you can see. So at first, this entire block over here, this entire group is a reference to this interior side of the wall. And then because I'm very lazy, I did create a similar group, and over here I'm using exterior side. So at the end, I will basically create two sets of dimensions. So if I have 150 ducts in some view, I will basically create 300 dimensions, and then I will see what is the value of those dimensions. And over here everything is yellow because we did choose to go with cable trays and grids. So I did send false message to this entire part of the script in order to execute this script faster. And in the same way, when I choose to go with cable trays and walls, over here everything will probably be yellow because I will send false message to these nodes in order to have better execution of this part of the script. But to get back on the story, so I will create set of dimensions for interior wall, I will create set of dimensions for the exterior wall, then I will basically read the dimension value. So if we have dimension over here, it is almost 600 millimeters, and I will also create this dimension over here, which is 762, and I will say inside the Dynamo, okay, now compare those two dimensions and see which dimension have a less value, and delete that dimension which have a higher value, and this will happen. So okay, but what we have also here, so at some point we will try to find the distance between the element, chosen element, in this case cable trace, and the wall, and then we will go, and then from those two side surfaces we will have only one. Again, everything is null and everything is false here because we decide to go with the grids. So at this moment I will have that only one surface, which is the closest surface to some wall, and from that point I will try to find all the reference for the wall, and in the end I will also need to find the proper lines, and I'm doing everything again for X and Y, so it has a lot of nodes. You can highly optimize the script, but in the end you will have those dimensions. And basically that's it for this script, and I doubt that I will publicly again deal with dimensions in my videos, but if you need some kind of the custom script for dimensions, you can go to my website and fill up the contact form. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.